But I will say that they got so much value out of that Sky on split that I'm kind of with you. I wanted them to have more initiator utility. So just that utility that helps get them onto site quickly. What they're running here is fairly standard. Let's face it, this is probably the most standard composition that you could possibly have on ICEBOX. But I feel like it doesn't necessarily play into their strengths per se. And it doesn't really play into their particular play style. It's almost that case of, we know this composition works, so we're going to fit into the comp and make it and try to make it work for us. Whereas what they did on Split was very much, it wasn't a super meta decision in the comps. Like, it wasn't that they were playing like Yoru, but they weren't playing a very, very standard composition, and they made it work for them. So we're going to be seeing, obviously, JB coming out with almost a mirror composition to what CLG have. But like you mentioned, it's going to be the Reyna Milky Way going to be popping onto that one. And have we seen JB run a Jet? I don't think so.
No, I don't think they have. It seems to be something that probably they're just not super comfortable with yet.
Yeah.
And it's not the end of the world. Something that you probably would want to see on a map at some point in the future. So maybe they even run it on Ascent, one of their best maps, right? So but looking at the compositions here, the lack of Sage that we've seen from CLG, they finally managed to fit it into their composition. And no Astra whatsoever. So that's really going to change the dynamic of how this map is going to be played. Really relying on the Sage and the Killjoy to hold things down or play proactively, kind of whatever is your poison or whatever you so choose. The big difference is that you highlighted is the Reyna versus the Jet. We'll have to see how that kind of comes to fruition. Which duelist does have the most impact on the map itself. We do have CLG starting off on the defense. Just Breathe starting on the attack. Let's see how this first round goes, but the final map ends.
And this is the third time that we're seeing CLG start on defense. And again, the pistol rounds are so pivotal. For 3 maps in a row, we've seen JB take the first 3 rounds, and it really does start to potentially set the pace. So we'll see if CLG, because when they do win those pistol rounds, they start to turn things around a little bit for themselves, and that is kind of the point. So let's see if they're able to actually do that.
A little bit concerned because they're moving a little bit too slowly. But Nita, gets stuck with the Sheriff. She's going to lose that one. It is quickly traded away by Chobo. They're looking to try to get that spike planted, but Naomi's been such a problem, staying on the off angles and from range. CLG will find the pistol.
Now, as I mentioned before, CLG running the most standard composition that you can possibly run on ICEBOX. Everyone runs this, and it is because it's so good. You were kind of mentioning how they finally bring out the Sage, and it's one of those things where, like, if you're not running Sage on ICEBOX, then your decision-making skills probably will be coming into question, purely because of how powerful she is on this B site for executes, and how well she can kind of stall out over on the A site. There are so many chokes that you can kind of put up the wall or slow with, so it makes sense to bring that one out. And then again, the Jet, Claudia already got a Marshall, doesn't connect.
Yes, it does. Finds one at least. Does get quickly traded away, though. Damn, this Marshall is a little bit scary. Can't find any more than the first initial pick. CLG Red slowly falling apart. This was their second round bonus. It's not working out super well at the moment. Naomi on the wraparound. Shots good for 1, 2 quick kills in succession. Now, Mluo and Natty, where do you end up positioning yourself? One player up in the nest, finds one, and manages to make it out alive for the time being. What? The turret, it's finding picks, and the Vipers bit, the snake bite rather. Wow, that was a great round from Just Breathe.
Abilities don't kill, but I think if you're like 2 HP, the abilities kill. A little unfortunate there, but again, it's really great lineup. So of course the turret, Naomi's kind of playing off of the turret, and that's really what you need to be doing. Works out perfectly. And then of course Rise just has those lineups, has the angle, so the snake bite comes down in a position where clearly JB were not expecting it, but JB do actually manage to win out that round there. Now they're able to buy up, and of course because CLG forced up as they normally do after you win the first pistol round, unfortunately that means they forced down onto a unfortunate buy here.
Oh, they're gonna push. Rise is in a great position. There's one. There's
No.
two. The Bucky can't find the third. The force up so far working out in favor. There's a resurrection that comes in for Kara, just perfectly timed, just trying to anticipate the best time to use it and make sure that she had the cover necessary. Now, 3v4, pushing into the B site. They've got the control, toxic screen up, wall goes up, just the standard plant execute. Owl drone spots. She'll join her team. Now, what do they do from here? They don't really have the best weapons in hand. They don't really have the best way to deal with this. Shock Dart finds one at least. Recon Bolt doesn't get a pulse. The fuse starts to go through. Shot's good for one, but Claudia is sticking it. She gets to half, gets cooked alive, and Milk finds 3.
Unfortunate, no one was actually watching the other side of yellow, the kind of backside of yellow. So, of course, Milky peeks out there and mows down the last couple of players left alive. Now, we did mention that it was an inferior gun round for CLG, but this time around they're able to buy up, and there it is. Round 4. Claudia has the operator. We expected it. We knew she was going to be bringing it out. I think that given JB's composition, there actually is a really good opportunity to shut down line of sight. I mean, if you throw out a Leah or a Toxic Cloud, you've got a lot going for you, but it is still minimal. So they're going to have to be very quick on the draw in how they deal with it.
Claudia just trying to get a little bit of a different angle, help support Rise with this Viper Spit. You talk about denying vision. Well, that's how Rise is going to start the round. You are not coming here. Bonita on the flank. Can't escape with her life, though. Second guesses her decision. Looks back at death. You'll at least find one to start. Now, they're going to be looking over towards the B site because the A site is just a little bit challenging to deal with because of that Viper's Pit. Fortunately for CLG Red, they really only have Naomi here. It could be a challenge.
At least I know that they have free access onto the site for now. So they should be able to at least get the spike to the site, as CLG are taking quite a while to actually make that rotation. But Claudia needs to be careful because Natty is bringing up the rear.
Oh, well, Natty, like you say, finds one at least for right now. Ooh, here's Welly's footsteps for one. Good shot onto Rise. But Naomi is starting to heat up. Knows that Natty's on the opposite side. One player remaining is just Natty. Finds the pick. Almost the ace. She's got the 4K on the round right now, but the spike is not planted, so all Chobo needs to do is buy time. She's got the spike on her side.
10 seconds
Here's
left.
the drop down. There's the knife out. Chobo! The ace for Natty! It's beautiful!
Oh, fantastic. What a flick towards the end of the round there. I'm kind of having flashbacks to Split. Okay, on Split, it was Rise that got the most disgusting kind of rinse through ace. But here we actually see Natty with one of the most insane clutch rounds. And she was on a flank. Well, not necessarily a flank, but she was kind of holding further back. She was the flank denial expert. And for her to catch Claudia off guard, then get the second pick in mid and continue along on such a tear. They force CLG down onto a save. Yes, CLG have 2 ultimates available, but JB are just in such control here.
Oh my god. Aim Lab's working out for Bonita right there. She had pixels to work with and makes it work, but we see a lot of engagement here. Bonita trying to find a little bit more value out of the 100 spree. One more tag is what she's got left with, but doesn't quite connect onto anything so far. Empress is popped. You see Chobo starting to push up through the B lane and just breathe. They've done this quite consistently round after round. Rotate back over to B after A doesn't quite work out. And now the Bucky's here and ready. Oh no, the first shot misses. Oh, but the second connects. She'll retreat back with her wall. And now as people start to pick up the Bucky, no, she can't control it. But the players are already here. The Marshall is ready. It's looking, it's aimed, but it's not able to find a pick so far. There's the lockdown and back again we go. Down to the do-si-do. We got a player though, Claudia. She's waiting for them to peek. She's in a really tough spot. Shots are not able to ring true with the Vandal. Somehow the Empress is still alive. Now Naomi from range with the Sheriff, not able to find the tags. And over to the A site we go.
30 seconds left.
What a messy round here. And of course, this was a janky buy for CLG. So if they can actually get another pick off here, then it's definitely a worth save. But
Spike planted.
oh,
Possible. We do have the Empress player, which can be quite daunting. The rapid fire can be a little bit problematic. There's the swing off the side. Naomi, shots are ringing true, but 25 HP is not going to be enough to be able to fight these two players. Zikara, she's a little bit further ahead. She'd be willing to sacrifice her life for the cause, but doesn't need to. Just breathes, just on a huge tear to start off this last map.
This was actually a pretty good round from CLG. So they managed to get 3 kills, which puts a little bit of a dent in the economy. It's nothing really massive. It doesn't force JB onto any sort of a massive save, but it does help for CLG as well. So they get 3 kills, which is pretty good. They also pull the Empress out, which is a big one as well. They did use their lockdown in that, but it kind of delayed time a little bit, try to help them out, and they managed to hold on to whatever ultimates else they have. And now with the timeout coming out, because that was kind of their jank buy, or their save round rather, so now they're going to be able to buy up. They're going to have the Blade Storm available. Very often after attack pause, we see like the craziest stuff come out from a team, and they do just like wild full sends and just completely wipe out a team. So kind of expecting something from that, something in that vein.
While we have a breather, let's raise your heart rate again by watching this ace from Natty. Very, very well played. The fact that you end up in these kind of 1v1s is insane. But it's really the flick that I think she would be most proud of there, right at the end, right? Like she got those picks quite kind of clean and clear, but the flick was probably the most impressive part of the ace altogether, and it's what the cherry on top was anyways. So very well done from Natty. We saw that as kind of a revenge from Ryze's ace in the split map ace. Now, that tactical pause for CLG, what could possibly be going through their mind? We talk about this operator for Claudia. Maybe that plays a factor, playing over towards this A site. This time the Viper over towards B, that might be the difference maker. Bonita just trying to be here to support and survive. That ult might be gone soon. Has to use the tailwind. Bonita gets right into the face of danger. Shock darts already. They're flying and they're doing damage. Bonita in a tough spot, but she bites off too much. Claudia finds the pick from backside. Now the Viper's pit is fully and locked and loaded. The knives are starting to come through, just trying to find those players, but Claudia only has 5 HP. And this is tough. 3v3, Viper Spit. They want to get the spike planted. Natty is coming up so huge. Has the 3K on the round right now, and she's hunting for the 4K. Knows where the last player is, but Milky Way plucks it out of the sky like a star and finds the frag. This is starting to really heat up for Just Breathe.
Wow. I'm very surprised. I mean, what we saw in this round is not the same team that we saw on Bind. They kind of started their upward swing on Split, and they've just gone from strength to strength to strength. This attack on ICEBOX has been so clean. And again, it's how they use that utility, like what we saw in the previous round, using the Sova drone to get the information, follows it up with the Hunter's Fury, and then they follow up with more utility thereafter to continuously create space. They've just been playing out of their minds. They still have a lockdown here, but CLG do have a res available, so they'll be able to even up the numbers. But wait, is this? Yeah, I thought there was a flank and I got like terrified, but no, it's not a flank.
Ryze, so much trouble. Tried to play the cheeky position that we've seen Natty play on splits. Jobo trying to get those jumping shots from the Marshall. Claudia on the lurk, gets taken care of by the default Mluo. Flaze just trying to chase down Chobo. The soft buy is not going to the way Just Breathe, but somehow 2 Sheriff picks ultimately put the odds a little bit back into the favor of CLG Red. Bonita on the flank, just thinking, how does she want to deal with this? Because she's definitely farther away from Naomi, but she's got this Vandal. Vandal can be a pretty big X factor. She did such a great job with it on the first map. Has to find this first pick. Okay. We've got a very injured Milky Way. That shock dart will put her to pieces in a second, but just one at a time with a 1-2 punch. Just Breathe. They will do exactly that. Stay alive and find a round.
That was another save round for CLG. So they are able to buy up here. But again, this is an important round. And something that I had mentioned coming into this round was how I wanted to see them dealing with Claudia's op better. And if we take a look at the scoreboard right now, Claudia is 2-7. That is exactly what JB have been doing. They are consistently winning the rounds where Claudia is able to get the op, they're either shutting down the sightline or they're kind of avoiding it entirely, then forcing CLG onto a save where they don't have to worry about the operator, and that those are the rounds that they tend to win anyway. So the fact that they've been consistently dealing with Claudia, the problem that is Claudia, you can see the results for yourself. 6-1, crazy half.
I have a sinking feeling that A was never the plan, that they were going to back away anyways, but with tags. Trying to sell this A site position, and they've got 4 players here from CLG Red, so they've done a pretty good job of selling it, but I feel like Naomi has had the hardest job throughout this entire map because she's always dealing with these mid-round B pushes, right? They go A, they sell it, and they just rush over towards B. Naomi gonna have to always be the one that picks up some of those pieces. A lot of that utility is starting to be used. They're pushing in onto the site. Operator here for Claudia. They're raiding for the peaks. Can't find a shot, but Bonita will still find that pick. The spike hasn't been quite picked up, but Milk. Oh no, Milk. Oh, Naomi has no idea. Oh, they're starting to rotate. 2 picks for Milk, and she gets away. Oh my goodness, this is so scary for CLG, but it's even scarier for Chobo. She's got a flank of her own. Manages to find 2 on the way out, and now Milk's like, okay, this is crazy. Where are they all coming from? Finds one on the retreat. Still 1 more player remaining. It's Rise. They have to get the spike planted, and Rise is in the prime position to stop that. They're seeing the flanks. Rise with the clutch around for CLG.
I was watching Milky Way that whole time on the minimap, and she was on flank watch, but somehow her and Naomi managed to pass one another and go through opposite ends. So Naomi's pushing up through mid, and Naomi's kind of like in the kitchen area, and Milky Way pushes all the way around, wraps around, and while that's happening, Naomi's on the complete opposite flank. Both of them managed to get ridiculous amounts of value, but yes, right at the end there, they don't check back of sight, and Rise is the one that's able to get those last 2 kills just off the back of not checking that angle. And here again we see the importance of having a really strong lurk. Finally CLG get a second round on the board here. They've got a lockdown available, and that is such a good start to this round.
It's with the Vandal nonetheless. Claudia, might be time to hang up the operator. It just might be time. Claudia had a really great first map, and while the operator was a part of it, it wasn't the only factor. As the Reyna, you're not really holding the op most of the time anyway. Look at this read from CLG. They're like, okay, they're gonna go B. They go A, they go B. Resurrection though, Anita trying to find the answer to it. The fact that they're still staying around B, now Naomi in a little bit of a tougher spot because she's the one that has to deal with this push eventually.
And we're not seeing any Killjoy utility on the field, so they're waiting before they actually plop any of that down, which I'm very happy about, waiting until they actually need it.
See, at least the turret go down. I don't really know what Just Breathe is doing here. A little bit indecisive, just trying to make sure that they're dotting their I's and crossing their T's. This toxic screen is definitely helping with that, not really allowing them to peek in. Now as they go in, shock darts are doing some damage. Shot's good for Claudia, but Milk finds 1 player, at least for the time being, as she's flanking up through the middle. Not a lot of time left. Spike does end up getting planted. Engagement up above, not working out either, but the lockdown's going to be a huge problem. Claudia on the hunt right outside the range. Claudia with the 4K. CLG answer back.
Oh, I love that. So Milky Way went on that classic flank again, manages to get 1 kill. The rest of CLG realize that she's on that flank, stick together, and they're able to shut her down before she's able to get all the way into kind of the defender's spawn. They shut that down very quickly, and like you said, Claudia hung up the operator. We're just going with the rifles here. Another round where she possibly... Okay, no, she couldn't have bought it. Not nearly enough credits. But at least, you know, she's sticking with that Vandal, and it's working out a lot better because JB have figured it out. They've figured out how to deny the operator, whether it's, like I said, avoiding it entirely or trying to shut down the sightline with, like, smokes and leers and whatnot. But when Claudia has a Vandal, she can play a little bit more aggressively. She can play a little bit more normally, a little bit more naturally. She doesn't have to consistently just be holding angles all the time. And now we see the fruits of that. A 4K in the previous round. She's back to being terrifying.
Yeah. Once again, just breathe, looking over towards this A side as we've seen round after round. Will they double back to B? It does not look like that's going to be the case. They're just going in and they're looking for the picks. Claudia up above proves to be a problem. Claudia for 2 before Bonita ends up falling. Just trying to protect Claudia. Arise has been here the whole time. Just quiet, patient, unassuming. No one has heard a peep out of her quite yet. And the resurrection says, hey, this round is not over yet, but Claudia is down. A great angle for Luo to hold. Orb goes up. They're waiting. Ooh, good spray through the smoke. We saw with caster vision that should have hit, but did not put the nail in the coffin.
And this is why the Phantom has been so favored in this meta, because, you know, no tracer rounds. So the shots are going to come through, but you won't see where they're coming from. And we kind of see the opposite there with the Vandal. So you can kind of trace it back to the direction it's coming from. It gives away quite a lot of information about where those players are.
Ooh, on the rope. Very dangerous to spray through. And those tracers we talked about are coming straight through that cage. Straight through the smoke. Slaze for 3. Tobo just trying to find where that last player is. Slaze had no choice but to plant. Very well done from CLG. I think that's been 3 rounds in a row now. They've managed to just salvage. It might even just be that they stopped using the operator. That might just be the ticket. That's what the tag pause was. Claudia, can you stop? Yeah, I can. Okay, let's win now.
Let's do this. Now, what I will say is that you kind of mentioned this as well. A lot of A hits. Kind of flirting with the idea of B, but consistently going A. And as we've seen, it hasn't worked 3 rounds in a row. So I'd be curious to see if they do opt for another B push. But that B push potential is shut down as the Viper's Pit comes out. And yeah, well, we're going to see if they opt to try and push through it or, you know, change direction entirely.
Interesting Viper's Pit as well. Rise is in a really interesting position to hold that Viper's Pit kind of accountable up on the box. Owl Drone does kind of spot her toesies, so she's got to drop down. Weapons aren't really super great moving into this one for Just Breathe. They want to bounce back on that last round, right? They want to have the economy for the final round. If they can find some upgrades, that would be the most ideal. Heck, if they win the round, that would be the most ideal. But it's going to be challenging since they're stuck behind this pit. I don't know why they don't just kind of bounce back over towards A since it's worked so effectively.
Ooh,
Instead, they're going to force themselves to play around the pit by going up and over it. That's not most ideal in my opinion, because that's, you know, the wall's kind of gone. You can't use it anymore. They'll still push in, running gun for Milky Way. Finds one, and they'll start to push on over. But like I said, you're not making it through the pit. You're not. You're just not. But it's a 3v2, very possible now. Just down to Milky Way as she's able to find at least one for the time being. She's got a Vandal, and she can be deadly with it. This is where Reyna's really start to thrive. She doesn't have a Dismiss or Devour left. She can't really quite play with this quite as effectively. Rise was waiting the whole time. And CLG, they've almost caught up.
Another one of those rounds where production turns off the silhouette of Rise, so we have no idea where she is. Builds the tension. I was freaking out there towards the end, like, oh no, where is she? Where did she go? Did she wrap around? Kind of puts you in the mind of the player. And that was a very, very close round for JB. I know that you weren't a big fan of the up and over, but I quite liked it. And I thought that there was definitely potential. But because it's such an unusual situation, it's clearly unpracticed. You don't kind of spend your time thinking, all right, how are we going to execute this up and over strat just in case this thing happens? It's kind of an improvised on the fly thing, and it's hit or miss. And in this particular situation, unfortunately, it missed. Now we have JB with attack timeout, this is a very interesting time to have this because, of course, it's the last round before the swap. So you only have 1 round left in the bag. And if you go into it 6-6 versus 7-5, it makes a difference, but it's not like, I suppose it's not the end of the world. They're going to be able to full buy up here. They're going to have the Viper's Pit and the Hunter's Fury available. So hopefully, if they can kind of get onto site really quickly, we might actually see a B push here just because they'll be able to drop that Viper's Pit and take full control of the B site. That's kind of what I'm thinking. And then, of course, the Hunter's Fury, maybe we see Slays kind of hold back a little bit further back. And they say, okay, we're going to drop the Viper's Pit, plant default, and then we'll have the Viper's Fury. Viper's Fury, Hunter's Fury, for in case of a deep use. However, this is all speculation. They might just go AR.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the Hunter's Pit. Hunter's Pit once
Shut
that comes out. Well, CLG on the read. Feel like it's gonna be the A hit, but a lot of utility comes out flying very early on. So you see some of the members rotate back over towards B, saying, "Okay, they didn't really play for it super early, so we have at least an opportunity to play around this." The lockdown gets dropped, but a lot of the players were kind of already out of the range anyways. But Just Breathe aren't really playing that quite fast to it because they're worried about the players towards Snowman. Now the Viper Spit that you called comes out. Milky Way was waiting for the flank. Oh, I like that dismiss. Can you find that second? Oh, goodness. Yes, you can. Dismiss now. This is a huge problem. You see the angle that is being held here by Chobo. She's just trying to stop it from going any worse than it is. And no way. Milky with the 3K. This is how Reynas are so problematic. Finally, she gets stuffed. And we end up at a 2v2. Naomi just trying to run, just trying to hide, but she gets surprised by the Viper's Pit pop out by Natty. Now, Slaze, one of the last remaining players here around the bend, while the others in the pit don't even need to work together. The half finishes 7-5 in favor of Just Breathe.
Didn't even need to hang on to the Hunter's Fury either. They didn't wind up using it. And I must say that might be one of the biggest brain predictions I've ever had. I just love that it played out almost to a T. I just had the wrong ultimate. We saw actually the ult orb being picked up so that the lockdown becomes available and it creates the space so that the Viper's Pit can go off without a hitch. Once again, fantastic play from JB. Loving how they're doing so much better at using that utility and using their ultimates to gain space and gain an advantage in each of these rounds. And here again, we're seeing the natty ace. It was just so gross. Third time to watch this. I'll never get tired of it.
No, she will never get tired of it either. That has to feel good. Has to bring the morale up as well. You lost the first map. Second map felt good. Now third map, you're currently in the lead, but it is quite contingent on this pistol. The lead can be lost very, very quickly. CLG Red managed to find an opening. So far, they're going to be looking over towards the A site. The action's already upon us. They back away. And Just Breathe can hear that. They can hear those footsteps. They're gone. See you later.
But very often a team will do that. They'll start pulling away and then they'll just like re-aggress. So, you know, the footsteps to make the fake. This time, however, it's not a fake and they are rushing all the way over towards that B site. And it's fairly empty, but the counter rotation from JB has already come in. So CLG need to be fast.
Claudia re-engages. They managed to get the spike not down because there is a nano swarm that stops him for the time being. A flank is currently being developed by Milk and Slaze right down the middle, but they need to hurry up because Bonita has already found a pick and might find a little bit more. Turret and the alarm bot is going to say, hey, watch your back. Something's going on and something is developing. Mluo playing close with the frenzy, not going to quite have enough firepower to deal with it. But the flank coming in from behind is proving to be a problem. They time it so well together, but it's still a 2v2. The close range, Naomi finds the victory there, just down to Kara versus Naomi, but she's running out of time. The defuse stops. Naomi, are you going to swing? Kara for 4! Oh my goodness, what a round to find the 4K.
I have loved JB's pistol rounds because they win so many of them and they do it in such stylish fashion. And there again, Kara just getting the most ridiculous value and also playing that time so well and playing with the fakes to draw out a swing and then, of course, being able to get the shutdown at the end of it. Now, my biggest question, and I suppose I basically have the answer, is what does CLG do now that they've lost this round? Because we've seen very often how they buy up after losing the first pistol and then are forced to save on round 3. This time, however, they are not going to buy up, and I think this is the correct decision because, well, they've got a ways to go if they want to get themselves back into this.
Absolutely. Bare minimum, they're going to be looking to get the spike planted, get those extra credits, and hope to find a couple of players on the way out as well. Classics are going to make that definitely a challenging bit. Natty playing within her own poison cloud. Mluo was able to at least stuff one for the time being. Snake Bite goes down. Cannot plant here. Swing from Claudia. Nope, gets shut down. CLG really struggling to get this spike planted. Great job from Just Breathe to delay.
With only 3 players left here, trying to make something happen. And look at how Just Breathe have taken such full control of this site. They can get to A, but they need to cross past mid with 2 people watching down that sight line. Yeah, there you go.
Definitely a very challenging round for CLG. They were just hoping.
Oh my goodness.
Well, I've never seen a run and gun ADS. I'll tell you that. I've never seen that, but I'm glad I have here at the Game Changers event. That was something different. That was very different.
One enemy remaining.
Oh, of course we replay it. The producer BM, I love it. I was gonna do the it's okay, no one saw that, but then we replayed it, so we definitely saw that.
Yes, we did.
CLG buying up, of course. It's the classic. And we actually have a res online for JB, and this has been great stuff to be able to consistently be getting these like round 3 reses.
Oh, wow, this fast break. Oh, Naomi's ready for it, but she didn't anticipate a second player being there. They actually have the spike. It's little known, though, by Just Breathe. They find what they want. Spike is still safe. If they force the issue, tried to fight for spawn, maybe with some players that pushed up through mid, they might have been able to control the spike a little bit more. Now it's just a reset, 4v4. Like you said, the res is still available if that's what they want to go for. And they might. Not too far away from that player. Still, it's all contingent on where they end up going. Shots starting to go through. Claudia finds one, at least for the time being, and the spike will get planted.
Cara was on mid duty, and she actually has swung all the way over to A, so very likely that we're going to see that raise come in and bring the numbers advantage back in favor of JB. Yes, it is happening. And now they know where that death was, so they will likely be expecting the rotate. And Rise, she's on it. She knows. This is where that rotation is going to be coming from. But they've already split up to try and create separate angles, so they're playing this so well. Never mind.
Very well done from Rise. She just held the off angle, right? That's all she needed to do, and she played that so masterfully well, but still, they're pushing in from the spike itself. Oh no, the backstab! Chobo gets taken down, and despite the big brain from Rise, that's all that's left! Psych! No, it's not. It's gone. Luo with the hero play. That puts Just Breathe at double digits. 5 rounds are what is needed for CLG to catch up. Things are not looking good.
My question is, as Luo rotates past Yellow and gets the first kill, are they not yelling to Chobo, behind you, behind you, behind you, behind you? Because Chobo doesn't even turn around. She just, maybe she's expecting Rise to be watching that back angle, but Rise is watching the potential ingresses from mid, so she doesn't have the view of that angle and isn't able to trade off of it. JB, and particularly Luo, play that so well. Now they're here on double digits. CLG back down onto an unfortunate buy. I don't know how they claw their way back into this, and this is what I was saying about JB on bind, but here we are. Roles have been reversed, and CLG floundering.
My goodness. Uh-oh. Surprise. Nukiway was ready for it. Already on the opposite side. Naomi's got a pretty deep position, but there's an alarm bot right there. I'm gonna spot her out, and Luo will respond in kind. CLG once again, despite this being an economic disadvantage, just want to get some picks. Want to get the spike down, you know, get something. So far, it's a flawless round. Could be. Nope. Still flawless. Still flawless. Chobo now last player standing. Spike is in enemy territory. Not really having the best weaponry. And it's a flawless. That is a tough pill to swallow. 11-5. This could be a huge upset. CLG down 6 rounds. How do you come back from this?
I mean, Just Breathe was one of my dark horse teams coming into this. We kind of spoke about it at the start of the series where... and I didn't get to go too much into detail about it because, you know, timing is a thing. But supposedly they've been doing really well, not just in the kind of female tournaments that they've been participating in, but like in scrims as well. They've been getting good results. Word has been circulating that they're doing exceptionally well. And this is it. I was a little taken aback by that first map based off of what I'd been hearing. But now I understand. Now I'm with it.
Ooh, great opening pick. Rise for 3. Oh my goodness, you blink and you miss it. That is the way CLG has to answer back, but Kara waiting on the opposite side. Your knife out's not going to help you here. Kara just trying to defend yellow for the time being. With the spike planted, the onus is on Just Breathe. The engagement goes sour, just down to one final player, Mluo. We've seen pull magic out of a hat before, but it's a 1v3. Ultimates all ready to go. Crossfire for Claudia, ADS for safe measure. CLG will at least buy themselves some time for now.
Great taps there just to get that little bit of cleanup. And this, again, is an important round for CLG. They're starting to build up that economy. And the reason that's so important is if their economy is too low, then when JB get us onto match point, potentially, we might actually just see CLG run this all the way up to match point themselves. But if JB do, they want to make sure they have enough money in the bank to make sure that they'll be able to buy up for that so important final round. But now, Simo, we're seeing something we haven't seen. JB have an operator in their hands. Slays looking to cosplay a a Claudia of her own.
Yeah, has to back away though. Recon Bolt makes it a very uncomfortable position. Natty just trying to survive. She's got the judge. Oh, do they see her? No, they don't. She goes back. Bring around the Rosie. Does get taken down. Chobo will finally get that frag. Resurrection ready and laying in wait. Waiting to pick that player back up. Kara's just waiting on the off angle. Shot's good for one. Now has to heal back up. Battle Sage in full effect. Shock Dart will find its mark. Benita. Oh my goodness. Claudia picks up the kill. Lockdown will be planted, but it's really, no offense, not really the best lockdown. Milky Way from behind will find the pick, and that lockdown maybe was just used to dissuade them. Oh, but they'll double back in. No players have been detained. They got the value out of it, but the problem is that Slaze is still here. Operator in hand. Wanted to swap to the Phantom. Did not expect a rush, a herd, trample to come in, take her down. Now it's just all down to Mluo.
I mean, we've seen Mluo do amazing things in previous rounds, but this might just be too much of a tall ask. Claudia, there you go. The finishing cleanup kill there at the end. It's always yellow. It's always somebody behind yellow that somehow doesn't get checked, and CLG just continue. Unfortunately, Slays does not get the same value with that operator that we'd seen previously, particularly from Claudia. I mean, she'd been so stellar with it, but as soon as they stopped using it, well, that's when things started to get a little bit better for CLG. Now they're starting to bring themselves back in. They need to be wary because JB have every single one of their ultimates online, and this might just be the moment that they were waiting to use it. Full rifles, a full stack of ultimates. They have everything to push them over into that match point scenario, but of course CLG have a Viper's Pit, a Hunter's Fury, and a Blade Storm of their own to answer back, and those are very, very powerful dissuading ultimates.
I can't believe you've let me for 3 maps say Slaze when Slays sounds so much better and so much more.
I've said it so many times. I thought you heard me and you were just like sticking to your guns. I was like, all right, you do you, man.
Oh no, I feel so bad. Slays, it's Slays. I get it, it's Slays. Here comes the Hunter's Fury from Slays herself. Not able to find the lockdown or any tags. We have to recall there's a Viper's Pit over towards the A site. Does look like Natty is just chilling on her lone stuff. She's like, yeah, I'm fine here. It's nice and cool in here. Spike is ticking though, so she needs to make her way over towards this B site ASAP. As her team cannot fight this alone. Mluo starting to push forward. Claudia finds the initial pick, but Slays and Mluo are working in tandem, trying to push CLG back, and they're doing so effectively. They're not letting them back in. Benita from the side, though, is pinching them in to not let them defuse, but Mluo is saying not today. Benita just down to her. All she needs to do is keep spraying, keep shooting, keep fighting, but the spike explodes, and CLG clutch the round.
Benita, you absolute monster. What a phenomenal play there. And again, I talk about how default planting, it's default because it's one of the best places you can plant. But the problem is everyone knows where it is, and Benita takes full advantage of that. She knows where the spike has been planted behind these green boxes, and look at that spray through the utility. Manages to buy down so much time. And this was, like I said, a pivotal round for CLG. I said coming into this that it might be the round that JB uses all of their ultimates. I didn't actually expect them to do it. Every single ultimate off the board, and they're on a save round. CLG looking hot to trot coming into this one.
good. Hot to try. I like that. Well,
Is that
CLG
another
though,
one you
they're
don't know?
yeah, no, I don't. I've never heard of that in my life, so I like it. Hot trot, it's good. CLG, they're hot trotting their way over towards the A site, and Luo is just trying to hold on to whatever angle she can, but sadly, whoa! I'm not sad. I'm happy. Luo's very happy. Finds the headshot onto Naomi. That spike's ticking, which means Just Breathe need to push in, and not having the most ideal weaponry. Natty on the flank. Judge gonna work out. She can find the upgrade if she so chooses, but she's been really feeling the Judge. There's the engagement, and just 300 Spartans right out the screen. They're pushing in together. They'll find picks though, as Shobo's just holding them back. Natty with the angle, and somehow Just Breathe puts themselves up to match point. CLG had the weapons, they had everything, but Just Breathe worked with what they had and made it work.
I feel like I need to highlight the ridiculousness of the last 2 rounds. So 2 rounds back, we have full guns, full ultimates. We throw everything we have and the kitchen sink, just toss it all on top, pile it in, we lose the round. So in the previous round, we got nothing. We don't have guns, we don't have ultimates, we got nothing. Win the round? And now we're on match point with a lockdown available, which could potentially shut down any sort of an ingress onto a particular site, slow things down a little bit, got all of those rifles online, but CLG managed to hold on to some of their ultimates, popping the Blade Storm, immediately gonna try to get a numbers advantage here, because this is it. This is do or die. Loser down to the loser's bracket.
All boils down to this. Blade Storm and Vandal in hand. Claudia is hungry and hunting. Wall's about to go down, but there's still another toxic screen. This is their toxic screen. Great shot through that little gap onto Natty. Now, line up for Slays. I almost caught myself. Shock Dart's going to connect, but there wasn't a follow-up. She actually makes it out in time. Claudia deep in the pit, but this is her teammate's pit. She can be in here as long as she wants. She's just trying to push in on the opposite side. She stops the lockdown. QA though is able to at least answer back to 3v4. CLG in a really great position here. The pit is so annoying to deal with. QA finds another pick. He finds a third. Oh no, this is going haywire for CLG, but still the Viper remains! Milky! With the 4K, how many more can she get? Just Breathe have done the unthinkable! They've taken down CLG and booked their ticket to the Valorant Verizon Game Changers event!
If Just Breathe was not on your teams to watch, they better be now.